Welcome to another story from behind the comic strip curtain. In this episode we look at the unusual origins of the Phantom, as recalled by creator Lee Falk. The Phantom is one of the longest-running comic strips in the world. Often viewed as a progenitor of the superhero, he appeared 2 years before Superman. Yet, if not for an early change in creative direction, the character's history could have been very different. Lee Falk was only 24 years old when the Phantom debuted, and had already found success as the creator and author of Mandrake the Magician. Mandrake was purchased by the King Features Syndicate, and was first seen in American newspapers on June 11, 1934. Falk soon began developing a second strip for publication. Initial concepts involving a reporter and the Knights of the Round Table were rejected, but he persisted, developing a new idea around a masked crime fighter. The idea of the Phantom developed rather slowly at first, but by the end of 1935 I could present a scenario and sketches on a character in a gray suit and black mask, and this time the executives at King Features said yes. Falk enlisted artist Ray Moore, who had assisted Phil Davis on Mandrake. Together they produced the first Phantom adventure. The Phantom debuted on February 17, 1936, in a story entitled The Singh Brotherhood. Readers first met Diana Palmer, a famed young explorer, sparring with a colleague aboard a ship entering New York Harbor. This carried valuable cargo coveted by crime boss, Fats Horgan. When Diana is kidnapped, she is rescued by the Phantom, a mysterious masked vigilante known to be active in the city. During this sequence, the Phantom strikes a henchman, leaving the mark of the skull. Later, Diana is seen catching up with friends, including rich and lazy Jimmy Wells. This setup hinted that Wells was secretly the Phantom, echoing the Scarlet Pimpernel and pulp heroes with millionaire alter egos such as the Shadow, the Spider, and the Gray Seal. When asked about pulp influences, Falk replied, "It's possible, but I am not that familiar with them. I knew there were such things as the Shadow and the Phantom Detective. I don't think I've ever read them. The only pulps I read in the old days were science fiction." In any event, Falk soon changed direction. As the story progressed, Wells and other early supporting characters ceased appearing, never to be seen again. Later in the tale, a completely new mythos emerges. The Phantom reveals to Diana that he is actually the latest in a centuries-old line of father-son crime fighters. It all began in 1525 when one of his ancestors, Sir Christopher Standish, survived a pirate attack in the Bay of Bengal and was washed up on shore. Found by friendly natives, he swore an oath on the skull of his father's murderer to ensure his male descendants would fight all piracy, greed, and cruelty. Falk later revealed this unexpected turn reflected a major change of mind behind the scenes. For the first few months, the Phantom was intended to be Jimmy Wells, a wealthy playboy who fought crime by night in a mask and costume. This was, of course, several years before Batman and Superman appeared. I never came out and actually revealed that the Playboy was really the Phantom, and in the midst of the first story I suddenly got the other idea. I moved the Phantom into the jungle and decided to keep him there. Gradually the whole concept of the Phantom developed, the generations behind him, the Skull Cave, his wolf devil and horse hero, and the Bondar pygmies. Falk attributed various elements of this revision to his interest in the works of Edgar Rice Burroughs and Rudyard Kipling. The Phantom is sort of an amalgam of Tarzan. I grew up on Tarzan, the Jungle Book of Kipling. The Phantom has a patrolling guard, the Pygmy Poison People, where he lives. They call them the Bondar, which is after the Bondar log of Kipling, who are the monkey tribe in the Jungle Book. I think the Phantom came out of those jungle names. Also the tales of the great explorers. The Phantom is kind of an adventurer. All the way back to Marco Polo. Great travelers, explorers. The jungle shift resulted in the Phantom's outfit, initially conceived as an occasional disguise, becoming his regular uniform. That's why he wears a costume that is not very practical in the jungle. Exactly the opposite, he probably suffers from the heat in it. I feel a lot of sympathy for him. That's the reason why I, from time to time, let him jump off the horses to enjoy a lovely swim. The Phantom now lacked a civilian identity, although he sometimes donned outer clothes to enter civilization. Falk kept his face obscured, later building a myth that only a few could see it and survive. Old jungle sayings warned, "He who looks upon the Phantom's face will die a horrible death." Even Diana did not see him unmasked until August 1937. The Phantom's outfit was originally described as gray. But when the Sunday strip debuted on the 28th of May 1939, it was colored purple, much to Falk's surprise. Falk continued to refer to it as gray as late as 1953 in the daily strips, but purple would eventually become the official color. Naming the Phantom had been a difficult process for Falk. I didn't like the name originally, because it wasn't that original. I wanted something distinctive like Mandrake, but I could never find one. The ghost who walks, the gray ghost, I thought about. It's this idea of the man who never died. I kept coming back to the Phantom. It's been around long enough now, so the Phantom really means my Phantom. But there are many Phantoms, the Phantom of the Opera and others. The Phantom's jungle was first set on the fictional island of Luntok in the Dutch East Indies, a British protectorate off the coast of Java. While this was consistent with the early appearance of a leopard, it implied that the Phantom's wolf devil originated from elsewhere. Introduced after the strip's changes, he may have been another inspiration from Kipling's Jungle Book, which had featured a wolf character. Regardless of how he came to be, the intelligent and loyal devil became vital to the strip. By the 1940s, Falk began calling the Phantom's homeland Bengali, again reflecting his interest in Kipling. I wanted it to be partly India, like that guy Kipling and the Jungle Book and all that. Basically, I wanted Rajas. I wanted something really wild sounding. You know, like the tiger. As a jungle protector, the Phantom upheld peace and justice in Bengali, where locals still followed traditional ways. Many early tales showed him as a respected, sometimes feared, figure whose authority was reinforced by the legend of the man who could not die. The legacy concept, in which there was a dynasty of phantoms spanning 4 centuries, helped give the strip its mythic depth. It would also later allow Falk to tell historical adventures of earlier phantoms. The Phantom came out of the myths of gods and heroes. There was a kind of mythological feel about the Phantom. The man who could never die. The ghost who walks. I have a lot of flashbacks in the Phantom stories about his ancestors. They had been around for practically everything. I think that's one of the reasons the Phantom remains so popular today. People in India or Europe or South America all have their own myths and heroes and can identify with the Phantom because it's so similar to the myths.